So let's say you're at a neat bakery, right? You sit down, you've ordered a nice big cake, they bring out this cake in this neat presentation, you have all the bakers and waiters and all of the staff bring it out in this amazing presentation. Your mouth is watering, you can't wait to taste the frosting, and they set down the entire cake on your table. You look at it, you can't believe what you're seeing. If it tastes as good as it looks, you don't even want to share. So then you take your fork, you pick up a nice chunk of cake, you take a bite, and it tastes like the worst thing ever. It's like a cockroach milkshake mixed with whatever gunk they found in the alleyway. You spit it out and you demand a refund. How dare they trick you? But then they tell you, but we had this young, impoverished boy from a third world country made it. You don't want to look like the biggest douchebag by trashing the cake, right? So now you're left in a dilemma. Do you respect the kid and decide to not trash the cake? Or do you talk about the cake regardless, being honest? Well, that's kind of what's going on here.
Wally T. Wally T.
The biggest question is probably how I got to the conclusion that this episode is the worst episode, especially considering that this is an ongoing series. Well, I don't believe Teen Titans Go would sink lower than what has happened here. So as you can see, the episode revolves around this Wally T character. Who is this character? Well, he's based on a real person in collaborative efforts with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He voices himself within the episode quite barely and loves the show. So as you can tell from before, the episode starts out with padding out his name a lot. It's not insightful, it's not funny, it's honestly just a circle jerk of the kid. And look, this review is not going to be fun because it puts me in a tough spot. I have no ill will for William Walter Thompson. I've never met the kid, but I do think him meeting the people who make a show that he loves is a great experience that I definitely think he deserves. My issue is not even that the episode revolves around him. The issue I have, and the reason why I deem this to be the worst episode of the series by far, is that they combine the one thing that makes a lot of people's experiences miserable with the worst time to do it.
We have a fan? Are you sure? I thought everyone considered us an abomination.
They do! Everybody hates us!
Everyone except Wally Walls right here.
Does anyone see the problem here? They're using their bitterness of critics to push more of this disdain for critics, and they must have known, by pushing this narrative while under the theme of the episode being about a Make-A-Wish child, that it wouldn't look good.
Do you like the Teen Titans? Or the Teen Titans?
I don't blame him. Animation-wise, there's really no comparison.
If it were just all of the original cast, taking friendly jabs at how the original is better than a reboot, that's okay. Shoot, I take shots at how my voice sounds from time to time, and a lot of my reviewing peers and I roast each other often. But there's a difference between that and having multiple episodes across every season essentially be a way to push this no one likes us self-deprecation nonsense that makes fans have to hear about this when they just want to sit down and laugh, but also makes critics essentially hear nothing because you never bothered to reply to any of the legitimate points raised. Here's a point, guys. The next episode is Rad Dudes with Bad Tudes. Why couldn't you put any of the criticism towards the critics in that episode? Why did you have to put it in this one? Why? I'm assuming, but it's because they must have known that this would have made anyone who criticizes this episode and the non-points they raise look like a big douchebag. And they will also have to deal with the fact that they made this for a specific reason, the child. You essentially controlled V'd Wally T multiple times, and then you mix it with a bare bones plot. That's literally all it is, and I know I'm spending a grand amount of time on the main elephant, but there's just so much to unpack about it, so let's just take a tiny break and talk about the other things.
You are mistaken. This is no boy.
He's all man.
Meow, meow.
Gotta give props to the kid. He got Raven, some incarnation of her, to do this to a character like his, so I guess it's canon now? Despite Raven also liking Beast Boy and Aqualad. Beast Boy never does anything in this episode to show that he's jealous, by the way. But in other episodes, of course he's jealous, but not with the Make-A-Wish kid, because then that would look wrong, right? I guess to an extent it's funny. I don't really want to get into the specifics of age, I'll leave that to you guys. So what is the story, you may ask?
As superheroes, fans give us our strength. Their admiration and support actually creates an energy wave that fuels us. Without fans, and in our case, one fan, we're nothing.
That's pretty much it. He's a fan, he gives power, they like power, they use power, they lose fan, they lose power. All is lost, they gain fan at last minute, they gain power, they save the day because of fan. I don't think that the concept of the story is even that bad. I actually think if they just kept to the story and not with this pointless commentary, then actually it would have been better than your average episode. It would have shown that they do care. It would have shown that they do like to have fun. And it would show that they would never sink as low to put commentary alongside a Make-A-Wish Make-A-Wish kid. I can't get over this. I think the main reason I'm so disappointed is because there are jokes and parts of the story that I enjoy.
Check it, Walter, my man. You wrap your hand in TP till it's nice and sealed. That way you stay clean whiles you gets clean, got it?
If TP was running out because you put that much TP on your hand, you are becoming the TP. I'm gonna wrap you around my arm and you're gonna experience last night's dinner. I definitely think there is some merit to the episode, but the child shield is where I draw the line. And some of you may think, well, Jay, you don't really care about the kid. You never know the kid. You don't follow Make-A-Wish. Where's your donation to Make-A-Wish Foundation? What have you done to society? Well, A, I've actually have donated foundations and I would love to raise money for a charity. Also, B, I don't want this practice to go unchecked. If I was under fire for whatever and I shielded the criticisms with visiting a Make-A-Wish kid that just wanted to see the ALPHAJAY show in person, I'd be eaten alive. This practice is disgusting and ugly.
Wally T!
Wally T!
Ooh.
We are loving this fan strength, yo!
It feels so good. Think about how great we'd be if we had more than one fan.
On a different note, I do appreciate the subtlety in voices from some of the Titans, and the action didn't seem too terrible. I do think Gizmo's motivations was pretty generic in the sense of he didn't have any. He's just a super villain who wants to do bad things for the sake of doing bad things. In fact, he's done this whole giant robots tactic in Laundry Day, another episode in which he just seems to do bad things for the sake of doing bad things. I don't even think the plot, minus the commentary, is the worst execution. It's definitely bare bones, but if they had more comedy and less commentary, this would rise up to be a decent episode. And to anyone new, I am a fan of some sections of Teen Titans Go. I've made a 90-minute video talking about episodes that I enjoy, and I believe I am the first in that department. I am a big critic, but I'm also a big fan, defender, and supporter. I do think that season 3 is the worst season out of Teen Titans Go because it was then when they were the most arrogant, the most shameless, and the most bitter. I wish I had more time to discuss season 3 in detail, but that's for another day. Let me know if you're interested in that. But getting back to this, we get one of the main reasons I wanted to talk about this. This scene here is the accumulation of everything wrong with Teen Titans Go in general.
We shouldn't risk losing the fan we already have by going after new ones.
There's only one proven method for getting more fans. Focus testing. We are going to show you a series of images. If you like what you see, hit green. If you don't, hit red.
So now that you have gotten a taste of the commentary in this episode, it revolves around them believing that people believe Teen Titans Go is a horrible show that has no fans, and that they don't care because the only people who truly complain are people who are nostalgic for the original, who should move on because this is a show for a demographic, kids, who actually do enjoy the show. Now, while I do feel there's a section of people who truly would have never given the show a shot because of how much they love the original and do truly want story-driven plots with a darker, calmer atmosphere, a large majority of us have just been burnt. I did enjoy a lot of season 1, despite my least favorite episode before this being Gorilla. But where that and this episode differ is that I didn't like the story in Gorilla, whereas here, I don't like the morals that this episode stands behind. I don't enjoy what I see or the intentions behind it. But getting back to this, they shamelessly pander to Wally T, and the skit, both in story and meta, is the most pathetic scene I've seen in all of my 2 years of reviewing animation. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, that one was pretty bad actually. Okay, this is the second scene, the most pathetic scene I've ever seen. It's definitely the most pathetic scene I've seen from Teen Titans Go.
Waffles, waffles.
Waffles, waffles, waffles!
Motorcycle Mondays!
Da da dee da 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 dee dee da 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 da.
Guys, this isn't working. Wally left.
No time to reflect on our terrible actions of ruining someone's childhood. Gizmo's back.
It's not even about integrity or having Shane or giving a crap about being something more than a cash grab. My conversation is with the people behind this. I don't want to see you guys bitter. I want to see you guys have fun with animation. It's a strenuous process. It requires a ton of manpower, money, and cooperation just for, in this demographic's case, children's entertainment. This isn't fun. Or if it was, the well has run dry when it comes to this type of humor. I do get some enjoyment out of critic call-out episodes if done done well, which in many cases they aren't, but looking back on this in the years to come, it's going to look pathetic. The staff and the fans are essentially talking at each other because of the disconnect of TV not being a personal experience. Unlike a YouTuber, the creators and anyone else who's responsible for the show can hide behind the Cartoon Network brand. And although I'm sure they're great people, I have tons of respect for the staff who have worked on other superhero shows. I don't think this cheapness, the cheap plots, the cheap shots, the cheap jokes, the cheap looking animation at times, does the appeal of Teen Titans justice. Teen Titans has the power to be funny if it was written well. So on both the morality side and even pushing Wally T away, the commentary makes no sense. A lot of us want Teen Titans Go to be a good show and succeed, but that comes from focusing on what people like and enjoy instead of using your platform to air out non-arguments from critics because the actual arguments you're afraid to answer.
Zerath Metrion.
Our strength has left us.
Because our fan has left us.
It was your idea, bro, and now we're gonna die!
I mean, Raven has died, like, what, 6 times? So does death really matter?
A real fan never leaves, no matter how terrible we become. A true fan will stick with you out of a sense of obligation and duty.
I know they don't mean this. I hope they don't mean this. You can't even give me, but you're giving them promotion. This episode aired in May 2016. I honestly don't know how to explain this any simpler. Your commentary directly contradicts the goal you want for the show. You want to be silly, then be silly. You want to be fun? Have fun. You want to be comedic? Tell a joke. You don't need to respond to critics through episodes, but if you really must, and it's your duty, and you absolutely need to, then all I ask, make a point. The reason I care and take this seriously is because this kid doesn't need to be involved. Any critic in their right minds know that children care about Teen Titans Go. But what does a Make-A-Wish kid have to do with your commentary and fight with critics? Nothing. So keep your charitable actions and underhanded slick shots separate. And anytime I see this disgusting practice again, I'm airing it out. Screw this song at the end, screw the way they use this kid, and screw season 3 in general, and I hope I never have to have this talk again. So as you can see, I'm doing a Teen Titans sort of themed week of videos, and it gave me the perfect chance to talk about this episode. It's been on the back burner for so long, and I'm glad I got to it. I'm not sure how this is going to be received, but I stand confident in this being the worst episode. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Social medias and the video for requests is in the description below. And until next time, Alpha out.